everybody. Here we are. I'm Kat. You probably already know that. This is my husband, Cam.
How you doing?
He's going to be my moderator for the night. And if you can see, there's Carl behind me, who we were wondering how long it was going to take, actually, before it took for him to be pissed off that all the attention wasn't on him. And so far, it's what? Oh, he's crying. It's been how many seconds? Like a minute.
We haven't
Should we
started
just
yet.
pick him? I can pick him up. All right, buddy. Come on. Carl. All right. He thinks... All right.
He's upset the book wasn't dedicated to him.
All right, so this is Carl, and no, he's not upset. So you guys submitted some questions, and Cam, you're the moderator, so you have to ask me these questions.
Sure.
Right?
So it's the first question from Brian. Appreciate this question very much. The question is, how is the marriage thing going for you?
Well, we're still together. You can see that. It's been going very, very great. I'm very happy. Cam is a very strong and patient man who's very secure in himself. And he's also been helping me out a lot this week. It's been just like one thing after another, and it's been amazing. And like, you guys are the best. And the success of this book is literally beyond my wildest dreams. And if you've read the book, then you know that, especially with what my background is and a lot of the things I've been through. But it's, a lot's been going on, and he's been like making sure that I eat food, and also Keith, I talk about him all the time without really explaining who he is, and I think we're just gonna keep it that way. But Keith also is over here.
Neighbor on Home Improvement.
Yeah, Keith is like the neighbor on Home Improvement. He's like making all these things possible. He was also the flower girl in our wedding, so this is actually relevant to the question. But I'm very happy, and I would just actually like to put, Cam, how is the marriage thing going for you?
I mean, this isn't about me. So.
No, that should be the easiest question. I'm
Things
the
are great.
luckiest man in the world.
Of course. I am. Absolutely. No, things have been fantastic. It's been a whirlwind this week, but I'm super proud of you, Kat.
Thanks,
Your
Cam.
book is phenomenal.
Thank you.
So we're going to go to Rachel from Pennsylvania. Hi, Kat. I was wondering, what is the name on your necklace?
Cheens Timpf. I remember I was made a vet appointment for the first vet appointment that I ever made. At the vet, they're like, "What's your pet's name?" I was like, "Cheens," and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Cheens Timpf." Cheens. So I write about Cheens in my book. I dedicated my book to Cheens, actually. Cheens is my cat, who's almost 13 years old, who's been with me through every single thing that I talk about in the book. I'm gonna actually sign some of these, but I have a dog on me. Every single thing that I talk about in the book, he's been there. So it was only right to dedicate it to him. I actually wrote to Cheens Timpf and Joan Rivers, neither of whom can read this because he's a cat and she's dead. But when I got him, I named him Sgt. Pepper after the Beatles album, and then it was shortened to Peppercini Pepper, then Pepper, then it just became Cheens, and Cheens stuck. But it's actually, like I said, Cam's kind of new. My husband's kind of new relatively, so he didn't get the dedication. But like, Cheens has been there with me since those tough times in LA. It was only, yesterday I just when I hit #1 on Amazon, I just went in the room and I looked at him and I just cried. I was like,
Barnes & Noble.
yeah, Barnes & Noble today, I'm #1. I don't want to talk about it because I'm going to cry because it's still so crazy to me and it's surreal.
Let's move to the next question.
I'm not processing it. Okay, all right. Is that what a moderator does?
I'm trying to do my job. But let's move to the next question.
I don't think that you can fill in for Brett Baird. I'm going to though. I just made it up.
This is a great question from Joseph from Illinois. Greg's taller in person, right?
No, he's not. Greg is not 5'5". He says he's 5'5". Well, I've said this on the air before. He's 5. Because I'm 5'3.5", and we're about the same height. Yeah. So he's 5'4".
I'm 5'6", and I'm taller.
Yeah. No, he's just. But that's okay.
That's really all I have to say there.
That's okay.
It's okay. I love Greg, obviously.
This is a great question, especially with the book from Valerie from California. What inspired you to write this book? The cover in this book is amazing. You rock that outfit.
Thank you.
I can't wait to read what you have to say about the cancel culture that's sweeping our nation. Love you on Gunfilm.
Okay. Well, I don't know if they've read chapter 5. But what? I hope you guys are eating. I won't get into it. What inspired me was after the first surgery that I had. I was at home. I was on the phone with my dad, and I said to him, he was like, "Kat, he said to me, he's like, Kat, you're 32. What have you not been through?" And I said, "Well, everything that you go through that's tough, you're automatically building a connection with everybody that's been through it too." But then I was thinking more about it and the kind of things you talk about with cancel culture, and what's the point if we can't all talk about it and we can't make those connections that we could be making? I think that we need to be like radically anti that. Everybody's different. Everybody has some issue that they think is sacred. And I think we need to just decide that if there's a joke that offends us, to remember that our reaction to that might stop people from making a joke at another time about another thing that might be a joke that we need to get through a tough time. And working where I work and having the views that I do, you know, I'm a libertarian, I'm not a Republican, but I have Republican friends, obviously. I also have friends who are very liberal. To know that you can have conversation with anybody, because maybe you disagree about one thing, but maybe you can have something else where you have something really in common, like your parents have the same illness or something like that. I mean, people talk about speech all the time. It's like, I can say whatever I want, no matter how offensive it is. And that's totally true. You absolutely can. But also ignores the way it can bring us together by shared experiences.
Kat, I think the one thing I love about your book, that when you could read any chapter by itself, they're all standalone. But I mean, I get hot takes from you all the time. You probably don't want them. And, you know, you change my mind on things, and I hear it from you all the time. But you know, your writing was just so flawless. Like I always say, it's such great control. Like, it sounds like I feel like you are reading this to me when I was reading it. And it was phenomenal. Like, I was impressed. It is the best thing we do. And you're really talented in a lot of things, but this is awesome. So let's go to the next question.
I love this question.
You want to go? Okay.
From
Douglas, from Maine. You often mention your parents on the Gutland Show. What attributes of your personality came from your father and your mother?
I love this question. So my dad's a libertarian. So like I was getting Reason magazine when I was a baby. Well, I mean, like I wasn't reading it. I'm not. But he's like, I mean, you never met my mom, so that's interesting.
So yeah,
that's interesting
I always
question.
ask you about that.
He never met her, but she had a very deep voice like I did. She was very loud like me. She did that snort thing when she laughed like I do that people hate it. And they tell me she can't someone know she laughs as if I selected this laugh. I inherited this laugh from my mom. She really was, you know, attention seeking and attention grabbing. Like people wanted to hear what she had to say, and I think people, obviously I do that for a living, so people must like to hear what I have to say. She's really fun. I'm fun. Really just like strong in her convictions, but our convictions weren't always the same, so we would argue. And my dad, I don't know. I mean, he's sarcastic.
Yeah. Your dad's very easygoing, though.
He's chill. He's very
If
non-judgmental
your
and chill.
anything
Yeah.
like you, then the guy couldn't be anything but that.
Yeah. It's funny. That's like everyone was like, "Oh my God, Kat, like you married your father." In a lot of ways, I kind of did.
Did someone say to you like you're speaking? They almost like they felt like they heard your voice.
That's true. I was at my mom's wake, and this is actually pretty awkward because I was kind of bummed about the mom dying, and I was talking to like some of her friends that were there, and they were like, "Oh, can you say this? Because you sound like Anne Marie. Can you say this?" I was like, "This isn't a circus act. I'm at my mother's wake," but you know, but my dad is like really. My dad loves to write too, so I actually got my love of writing from my father. He loves to read and write, and he's like sarcastic. And I don't want to say pessimistic because I would call it realistic, but some of my anxiety, not anxiety, but pessimism comes from my dad too.
All right, let's go to another question. Okay, this is a good one, just because I know you speak about New York City a lot, so I think this time we both do. And I'm from New York, so it says a lot when someone who grew up in New York can't stand it anymore. But this is from James from Arkansas. Where do you see yourself retiring in the future? Big city living or flee the countryside?
I will literally never retire. I will never retire. I will retire when I expire.
Well, I don't think that was the point of the question.
I know, but it kind of is because I'm not going to stop working, so I'm not going to go to the countryside. I'm going to need Wi-Fi. But I'm like New York. The thing about New York is people say like, oh, it's not like there's like bullets like flying every time you walk out the door. Like it's not like as safe as it used to be for sure.
Yeah.
But also it's not what it used to be because so many businesses closed in COVID, and it's more expensive. So like I wouldn't mind it being disgusting if it was at least like disgusting prices of what something gross should be. I would like to go to Texas probably. But I would still be working. I love Nashville. I had the best time in Nashville though. It took like a week off my life.
Yeah, I mean, like if I have a vote, I'd like to.
Yeah, well,
I'd like it somewhere. It's kind of like between, it's like a mid city, but a little bit.
Like a mid city.
Like you have some city aspects as well, but it's not just
like what?
Like overrun like this city.
Like what?
I mean, I think
we're having this conversation for the first time.
I mean, I don't know. I think Dallas is great too. I
Yeah, I like
Tennessee,
Texas.
but like it's in between that. Like you do have some room here on top of each other, and the city is run like by idiots. So
Most cities are going to be run by idiots, though.
that's true. But okay. Well,
unless I actually want to be the mayor of Detroit one day. I would love that.
let's go to Barry from Texas, since we're talking about that.
Okay, I love Texas.
What is the weirdest request you've received from a fan?
How much time do you have? What's the weirdest request I've seen
I know.
from a
At
fan?
least I
What?
think it's the vape signing that was a turning point.
Oh, that's innocent though. I was signing vapes for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I honestly offering me money for my used shoes. They want my used shoes. For what, you might ask? Don't, because it's disgusting. Used shoes, like I don't know. I think it's weird when they're like demanding of stuff. Like people are like, you didn't answer. Like I'm like, I didn't see it. Like I don't. The used
Right.
shoes. I'd say the used shoes.
Okay.
I don't sell them, by the way.
So, staying in Texas, from Courtney, what was the most difficult chapter of your book to write and why?
Oh man. I mean, I think the most obvious answer would be the infamous chapter 5 because it obviously is disgusting and gross, and I'm aware of how gross it is because I lived it, which is what ultimately made me decide to put it out there, especially because I think that if I go that far into the end of like, you can joke about this, you can talk about this, something that is this gross and quite frankly humiliating, and I didn't feel like a human for a while, then that proves my point.
I think Kat, that I think people will be interested to hear about, like, and they don't see this, but how you wrote the book, because like I was here with you the whole time, like the process from beginning to end, because you did write it incredibly fast.
I sat in that corner.
It was supposed to be. I mean,
I wrote it in 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
And they expect this to come out in the fall. But just you have so much research in this book. Maybe talk about how you research stuff too, and I mean, writing does come naturally to you.
It
but
does,
talk
but
about your process of how you think about stuff and how you thought about these chapters.
right.
Some of my favorite chapters, you came out last minute. You told me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the chapters, because I was going to say there was actually another chapter that was very hard to write that I didn't expect to be hard to write, which was the sexism chapter, because I talked about, I wrote about things that I hadn't thought about in a long time, like if you've read the book, Jergens and whatever else, and just also what I've come from, where I used to be like sleeping on the bus like all the time to go to these gigs where sometimes I wasn't even getting paid for like the exposure. And then I took one of that with that guy who was trying to take advantage of me. It's all in chapter 10, but it was kind of emotional for me to think about how far I've come. And then I actually, going back to your question, Cam, the outline that I had for the book, I didn't end up sticking to it. I ended up coming up with my ideas for chapters as I was writing a chapter. I would even tell you, I'm like, okay, like the safe spaces aren't real chapter, I believe I wrote to and from Cape May. We were going to and from Cape May. I was sitting in the back.
To you for the whole time.
Yeah, well, because I was working. So we were sitting in the backseat of the car, and I wrote that chapter. And what you always say to me is you need to start talking about some of this stuff, because I've been talking about this stuff on campuses. I've been writing about speech, and I've been writing about these issues for more than 10 years now. And a lot of the stuff I've seen coming, and now it's getting more, widespread, and it's getting more attention. And you always tell me, like, Kat, you can say it again, what you've already said or already written about.
I think sometimes you get bored.
And I get bored. I'm like, I said it already, which is why this has been interesting. Because people ask me, like, how's your book going? I'm like, I said that. I told you, but obviously it's great. You want to do book promotion. But that was a good encouragement from you, because you were right. But I think that it's very important to talk about this stuff. And, but the hardest ones emotionally versus research, I mean, that one was kind of tough. I mean, I wanted to do my own research. I was offered a researcher, but I wanted to do my own research because I really am so passionate about this topic. And I didn't put a book out there because that was like some next step in my career. Oh, a Kat Timpf book, and I can, for money or for attention, as much as I love attention. But I really care about this topic, and I'm so happy people are reading it, because I think that if people do and people take the message to heart, that it could actually literally change the culture. Do you ever eat?
Yeah.
That's okay, Deb. Do I ever eat? So, okay. Yes, I do. This week I've not been good at it because I just don't have. I just ate a piece of pizza. I should have done it on camera to prove it. I definitely eat. This week's been tough for it. I eat mostly like on the like I eat during the day when I'm working. I don't eat.
Your book party, what are we having?
My book party, we're having fancy cocktails and McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I eat McDonald's at least once a week. I know I'm really thin. My arms are definitely the thinnest part of my body.
You work out all the time.
I also work out. I love working out because my anxiety is so bad.
1 hour in the morning, that, doing cardio, and then abs and other stuff you do. No, you work out all the time.
Well, I do. Because it helps my anxiety. It helps my anxiety.
Yeah.
But I don't I feel like I'm annoying being one of those girls. Like, and forget to eat. So if you want to hit me, you can. But also, like, this isn't sexy. Like, I know. Like, I'm super self-conscious about my arms.
No, but you're very conscious about health and what you're eating.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely healthier since we're together about the quality of food you eat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So yes,
so
I do
eat. She does eat that.
This week, Keith again, who's been there. He's literally like Mr. Wilson.
I think the fault sometimes is when you get wrapped up in work.
I don't think about it.
I don't.
It
becomes secondary.
You forced me to get I had like a 600 calorie protein shake, like a big tub from Juice Press yesterday. I was like, I don't want it. He's like, I don't care.
I have to ask this question just because it is the book, but we're going across the pond to the UK, and David asked, what can you really not joke about?
There's nothing. That's the point of my book, and if you've read it, there's not a topic that I don't address. I mean, like death and illness, yes, but I also talk about trans stuff. I talk about blackface. I talk about everything. So I absolutely needed to not just say that you should do this, but actually prove it and do it and walk or talk. Not just talk the talk, but walk the walk too.
Some of these questions are great. I'm laughing reading them over because Kat talks about some of these.
Is that one you're laughing at?
Well, this one and then this one too, but we'll get to both of them.
So these are good, you guys. I like talking to you
back
guys.
From Maryland, you mentioned being very anxious as a child. What's the most ridiculous thing you used to or still do?
Okay. I mean, I think I've talked about some of this on Gutfeld. I learned to read really young, and I used to read my mom's old social work books, and I would accuse her of parenting me wrong based on the stuff in her old textbooks. But then I also would read medical textbooks, and I was obsessed with the idea that I had scarlet fever. I was very afraid that I didn't drink enough water throughout the day. I'd wake my parents up in the middle of the night and be like, I only had 4 glasses of water. Am I going to have any long-term health problems? Something that's gone on my entire life is I'm always scared that if I don't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, something very bad is going to happen to me the next day.
Well, I have the one story.
And I still have that.
The story I do love you telling me is, I think you're talking to your grandparents from Texas, Timpf.
Yeah.
And you got in an argument with them, and you're 2 years old, and someone was like, "Why am I arguing with a 2-year-old?"
That was my mom's dad. You know.
Oh, no.
My mom's dad called my mom. Was like, "Why am I having a full-on argument with a 2-year-old?"
You spoke really. You were really young. You were able to speak, and you're intelligent.
I'm very good at language. I'm very good at writing and reading. Now, file this claim, can't do it. Make an appointment, not just write in my schedule, appointment, which is not always as helpful as it could be. Organization, everything else, I'm terrible at.
It's normal person stuff.
No, anything, functioning. And it's
Donna, this is great because I hear about this all the time and if you've never been to the Gutfeld show, the studio is freezing. It's 65
no, it's not. It's 64,
it's
63. It's cold.
It's really, really cold. I'll say. But so Donna asked, why don't you get a heat seat on Gutfeld? You're obviously freezing.
I have a heater. I have a space heater next to my chair.
It was heating. It was too hot.
But it is too hot.
Oh,
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh my! That was this year too. So it's so cold. It's so cold that I got a little back heater. I forgot. Oh, Keith remembers. Yeah. So it was it went on the back of my chair right here. Yeah. And I sat on it and it was better. But then one day I noticed I had a rash on my back in the exact shape of the heating pad. So I had another problem on my hands. And then I had to go to my dermatologist. And but now I have a space heater next to my seat, but it's still the same issue. It just burns one of my legs. It doesn't actually. Now I drink hot tea. Yeah. But it's still so cold. It's still freezing. And Greg's just a sweaty little man. And you know what? If you've ever come to the show live, you would see this happen in the commercial breaks. Whenever another woman is on the show who isn't me, be it Kellyanne Conway, be it Laura Trump, be it Molly Hemingway, she says she's cold. Greg goes, we can turn it up. Every time. And I say to his face, I'm like, oh, oh, wouldn't want Molly to be cold, wouldn't want, you know, but he's like, well, you're here all the time, you're used to it. I'm like, that's not how it works.
I remember when I came to the show and I started drinking out of your mugs during the show before, and they were like,
you did.
I drank on the.
He drank out of our mugs.
mugs.
I was so
and then
embarrassed.
James got in trouble.
James got in trouble. James.
He left him out. I didn't know.
Because didn't you take one?
Well, I was like drinking out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a nice mug there sitting in the coffee
That's a
machine.
nice mug.
It is a nice mug, but it was apparently like some props. So.
It's a prop.
Yeah. Oh, what do people drink in those mugs typically?
I drink tea. Most people drink water.
Okay. Okay, so I guess Christine hasn't read your book, but from Washington, Christine asks, what did you do before the Gutfeld show?
Boston market. I mean, I did a lot of things. I worked at National Review. I worked at Campus Reform. I worked at Barstool Sports. Oh yeah, that's coming out tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did an interview with KFC on Barstool. That's coming out tomorrow. I was a waitress, a very bad one. But I was a writer. Helicopter. Yeah, I got fired from a traffic reporting job when I was in Los Angeles because I was like giving bad directions, which I get it. Like they were right, you know. I couldn't really fight that one. But I've been a columnist for about 10 years. Before that, right? It's been like I lose track of time.
I mean, you do a lot. I mean, you do
Writing.
from writing.
Stand-up comedy.
And you're a writer on the show.
And I write on the show too. I also write on the Gutfeld show. I've not been writing.
You used to write National Review for a bit.
Almost 6 years at National Review.
You know, the book obviously the
Campus
job in
Reform.
itself. You do speaking engagements.
I do. I write for Gutfeld. I've had to
Yeah.
take this week off of writing for Gutfeld because when would I do it? But
taking care of Cheens is a job.
taking care of my cheese. Don't get me talking about cheese again. These people will be like, we get it. The cat.
Well, so on the sideline of that, Darlene asked from Wisconsin, since you're always so busy, what do you do to relax?
You know, total relaxation. I love to watch trash television. I love to watch absolute trash.
What are your favorite shows right now?
Well, I like to just like
I know.
You got me into Bravo. This straight white military veteran man got me into Bravo. So I never watched Summer House before him. It's getting a little boring now. We couldn't finish this week's episode.
You're on Vanderbilt.
But yeah, I'd never seen all these shows, so I'm starting them from the beginning. So we started. The last one I did is I watched Southern Charm all the way through from the beginning, and now I'm on season. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Why are you in Charleston?" And it's like, well, you know. But I realized in season 1, Craig calls himself like a libertarian.
Right.
He says that on one of the reunions. So, I mean, you probably can't say that anymore on Bravo. You get like people throw things at you, but.
I was gonna say to relax, working out for you.
Working out,
but
bath.
I would
bathtub.
but I also say that like you're not. I'd say like you're not great like when you're not doing anything. Like you always have to be working. It's like if you know like a working dog, you're like a border collie or something. Like I think a house pet is a border collie. It's the worst type of dog to have. I'll probably offend someone saying that, but but like
you're
cat,
worried about that
no,
with all the stuff your wife says all the time.
Oh, the point is, cat,
the border collie's watching this without a job.
The cat is always. You always have to be doing something. Like
yeah,
it's like someone relaxing to you. Like you always got to be working, thinking. And if you're an art or idol, like even like vacations, like you almost can't. Like you always want to work. Also,
I'm so extroverted, and like the actual definition of an extrovert is I'm energized by being around people.
Right.
So an introvert's like he's so introverted where when you're around people, he needs time alone to recharge. I charge by being around people, so I need to like go to bed before he does. He'll be like, I can't talk. We have to stop talking because else I'll never fall asleep.
Okay, I kind of like this from Matt, but so I think you're super witty and funny. But what do you say to people who say you take your humor too far?
I don't really say anything to them. If I ever say anything that came off differently than I intended it, then I apologize and I say that. But if I'm just joking around and you really like think that says something about my character, like a single joke that I might make, then
I think you should read the book.
Ridiculous.
Because you really actually talk about this.
Talk a lot about
and where intention matters.
Intention is key, you know. I never apologize if I'm not sorry, and I think that more people should stop apologizing when they're not sorry. I mean, apologize when you're sorry, like to your wife, okay? But like, I'm talking about like in public figures where it's like if there's a controversy that they don't even know what they did wrong. I read about this in my book too.
Yeah.
Like one of the many Selena Gomez, Hailey Bieber controversies. Selena Gomez was like, I don't even know what I did, but I'm literally so sorry. Well, then, like, literally, you're not. Because if you don't know what you did, you can't be sorry for it. And it makes it harder for people who do want to apologize because we're so oversaturated with apologies that none of them mean anything anymore.
I mean, I kind of want to ask this because I was there, but Paul from Rochester says, I've lived in New York State my entire life, but I've never been to New York City except for an airport.
Amazing. Really? That's fascinating.
Kat, in 15 seconds, convince me why I should visit New York City at least once before I die.
In 15 seconds?
I'm just giving you that.
Like,
so,
you don't make the rules.
Okay.
Because why not? I don't understand that. Like, come see the Gutfeld show. I don't know why. You gotta come see it. Just come see New York. And then be like, all right, I saw it.
Okay, fair. Omar, I mean, you should try something always once, but.
Oh, yeah. But I like to try things. I mean, there's many things I've tried that I probably should not have tried, but guess what? I still don't regret it. So try New York City.
So Omar and Omar.
I saw this.
Yeah.
A shout out.
He's getting married on
you guys
April
are getting
22nd.
married? Oh my, wait, is that Saturday?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what day it is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Saturday. That's so exciting. Aw,
So
Kayla.
congrats.
Hey, how's it going, Kayla and Omar? That's so sweet. Oh, congrats to you guys on your wedding. That's amazing.
So you're getting married in Texas too.
Yeah, that's great. We're going to a Texas wedding this
Yeah, we
summer
are.
for my family.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Have the best
We're
day.
excited.
And it goes by so fast. So don't worry about the little things and just enjoy every moment. It's your party. Have fun.
Let's go to Alex, I guess from Florida. As a fellow cat lover, I'm dying to know where you came up with
I told that story.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
We've already gone through these. Some repeats, pardon.
Oh, that's an interesting question from Robert. So he's from Staten Island. And, this is a reminder to delete my phone. So with all the moving around to different cities during your life and living on your own, why are you scrolling through as I'm reading it? This guy, you could never do this professionally. They didn't do moderation in Afghanistan.
Well, I'm
What if like the Afghanistan
some
guys,
of these questions are
the bad guys came up and they were like, you need to moderate this or we kill you.
No, the first question.
Your battalion
were
would have
simple.
lost.
Yeah,
Call
but
it
they're simple.
battalion.
We're starting to get
No,
paragraphs
he's just saying basically every time I had to move and pick up and start a
Yeah.
different environment, did I see it as a new beginning or was it stressful? It was both. Because it was to pursue a new opportunity. And how I dealt with it was I kind of thrive in chaos, quite honestly. In some ways, I don't know why. But because it was working towards a goal. It was working towards a goal, and you get one life to live. And if anything, like, no matter what, to me, my whole life, I'm a little strange, right? I mean, when I was like 3 years old.
When I first started dating, when I came over to your apartment, what you have when I came in, it was just so messy.
Yeah.
And what you had.
That wasn't related to the question.
No, but you said chaos moving
It
around.
was really messy. I talk about that in the book about the pasta sauce on the floor.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think you thrive in that chaos.
No, but what I was going to say is, like, when I was 3 years old, I asked my parents, I was like, why do we live here? There's no opportunities here. And they're like, you're 3 years old. So my goal was always to get out and, like, try to make my dreams come true. And to me, there could be nothing as scary as just sitting around and wasting time and not trying. So was it stressful? Hell yeah, read the book. Was it hard? Hell yeah, read the book. But it was totally worth it, and I never questioned whether or not. I mean, I questioned, like, is this going to work? Like, what am I doing? Sometimes I'll still think that. Like, what am I doing? Like,
I think you're always very purpose-driven.
But exactly.
Right,
but
so
I'm like, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep
purpose,
trying. I'm not going to anything stop.
where you're going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, everything else kind of goes by the wayside. But I think that's what most people act. Okay, this is kind of good. Do you think from Randy from Oklahoma? Do you think funeral homes should give out punch cards so every 10th family member gets buried for free?
Yeah, they should, but they make so much money. Why would they do that? Like, when I die, I mean, it's just so expensive. Like, I'm already dead. Like, please, that's why I threw my funeral while I was still alive. And I'm sorry you didn't get to be there. You're dating someone else. We'd never met.
You did more about Barbara Crockett.
Keith was there,
right?
though. Keith was there all night. He came over for the after party.
Yeah, people
copied it. People be like, who's Keith? They'll find you. They're good. Sometimes they do find you.
That's why I'm private.
I know you're
I
private.
think this one's a good one from Deborah from Massachusetts because people always love to hear the kind of behind the scenes.
Okay.
But Have you, Tyrus, or others on Gutfeld played a really good practical joke in Greg that you can share, or just a funny story?
What is the poop elf episode of Tyrus and Timpf?
Oh. I don't
Me
know.
and Tyrus did a whole podcast episode.
What would you call it? What was the name for Greg?
The poop elf.
Oh.
We called him Craig Butterfield
Craig
on the
Butterfield,
podcast.
yeah.
Whenever we talked about it, so it would show up in any search results. That could be it, Craig Butterfield.
Yeah, Craig Butterfield.
But we did the poop elf episode where it was like Tyrus and I came up with this whole Grinch prequel, where the reason the Grinch is upset because this is so dumb, because he kept getting poop for Christmas, and there was a poop elf twice a year. You have the same guy for Secret Santa, and Greg was the poop elf. And we did this whole episode, and it's a very funny episode. I was crying so hard, I was laughing so hard, I was crying. And we would talk about him all the time on the podcast, and we'd call him Craig Butterfield. I have so many more stories about Greg I could tell.
Well, think about it. Maybe
I'll
we'll come
think about
back
it.
to that.
Do you miss Detroit, Kurt? Every single day of my life. Every single day of my life, I miss Detroit. I love Detroit. I have a little sticker over there. Do we still have it up there? My mom, I found it in a suitcase, and it's all dirty right now. But my mom gave it to me when obviously we're still alive. She didn't give it to me; she was dead. But it says "Say nice things about Detroit," and I definitely live by that. Detroit is a wonderful place full of wonderful people.
We have a bunch of Detroit stuff in our
Yeah, it's like obviously there's really bad areas. Like don't go to the abandoned wasteland. You go to the downtown in the summer. Go to a Tigers game, you go out in Greektown, you go out for drinks, you go out to the bars, whatever. Like you're gonna have a great time. And some of my favorite people in the world live in Detroit. I almost said my favorite, but then I remembered I'm married now.
So Chuck from Ohio, as someone who used to be in the business of radio, what would you recommend to get back in after an absence?
I have no idea. Okay. I mean, internet podcasting, right? I have no idea.
Parallel,
That's probably the parallel.
Yeah.
I mean,
but Keith actually asked a great question today because when you're on Sirius XM and then to a podcast. Because I don't know, like, would you get out here working on TV, but to do radio, you're on every day, right? Versus a podcast, you kind of once a week. Is that, I mean, would you ever want to do that? Because you have a great radio voice, but it's a lot of work to do.
I wanted to do radio. No, I wanted to do radio. I didn't want to do TV. Like, when I was in college, for a while, I was like, I want to be able to look ugly every day. I literally thought about that. I was like 21 years old. I was like, I was an intern at Fox News, literally in LA, at Fox News, and I was like, these women have spent so much time getting ready. I was like, I just want to do the radio thing, and I can just like not wear makeup. And now I spend about 9 hours a week in a makeup chair, and I love my job, but I actually wanted to do radio.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. You just talk, you just jive. I feel like I'm doing radio right now, actually. Now you think about it. Yeah.
Maybe before we go to the questions, I guess a couple from me. Favorite chapter in the book. And favorite chapter of the book, easiest to write for you, hardest to write.
Honestly, it's hard. I can't think of favorite. God. I think Words Are Not Violence is probably like the smartest chapter I wrote.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
But like the shitbag chapter, like you're not gonna get that anywhere else.
Right.
Which but discovering the power of comedy is actually like amazing. But I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm gonna start crying again. It's just like the darkest, just illustrates how the loneliest time of my life, comedy was my means of connection. And when I first really discovered the way that laughing at something can take away its power. And then, I don't know. Like,
can I ask one?
Yeah.
The last chapter.
Oh, that's right. It might be the last chapter.
I think that's you, though.
Comedy is my religion might be my favorite. Because people are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, why don't you read it? Because I did a lot of research. Like, it sounds crazy, but I did a lot of research, and it impacts a lot of the same areas of the brain. And it's also, offers a lot of the same things to people. As somebody who is, again, not religious, unfortunately, I would love to believe in God rather than believe I'm a aging bag of bones and blood held together by some skin sack.
Let's go over, I think a lot of people would love to know the reason and thoughts for this cover.
Yeah.
Because this is not a normal picture that people do. People in their coffins.
Yeah.
With a beer, do that. And people, this is like shocking. Even like to the points of, people up there, we've got these shoes, we got this in your honeymoon, these shoes.
Those are my honeymoon shoes.
But just your thoughts behind this and why you chose that.
Well, you won't be shocked to learn this cover was my idea. Harper Collins is not like, so we're going to get you a coffin. Because, a lot of it was like my face had to be on it. If you're on TV, you have your face on the cover. But I didn't want just like a glamour shot of my face. First of all, I hate getting pictures taken of me. You can just ask Keith.
That's true.
It's
hard.
It's hard. I hate it. It's so much pressure because it's like you need to not only look hot, you need to look so hot that you're gonna remember it forever. But also not just hot. Like what is this photo telling me? It's horrible. But I wanted to make it clear when I say you can't joke about that. Like when I say that that's not a thing you can say, that you can joke about anything you want. I do mean anything you want. I mean anything you want, including death, which is obviously the most controversial thing to joke about. It is the thing that we treat the most delicately in our society, even though it's the one thing other than us all being born that we're all going to go through. So I want to make it clear, yes, I mean everything. Yes, I mean everything. So I was like very concerned about not being able to tell it's a coffin on the front, so then on the back I'm like, let's do this other coffin shot. So, any more from you?
Well, speaking of that, your headshots, I think you finally replaced yours after 20 years.
I didn't get headshots.
It takes 20 years for
No, I finally got new headshots this year, and the last ones I got when I was 27, 26 years old. I don't look like that.
Well, global entry is good for a decade.
Oh, my global entry card. I mean, I look terrifying.
I think
Do you have more questions?
we do have the other set.
Yeah.
So, right? How do we get to that?
Oh, it's over here. Wait. I love that the first question was, how is the marriage thing going for you?
Right.
Well, this person said when the guy said he spilled coffee and said, you hate me. Oh, that was wine? Yeah, they just kind of stared. Like, I was a horrific waitress. Horrific waitress. Okay, John, I actually want to answer this question from
Okay.
John. Yeah. It's like really like, not about the book, but I do want to talk about it. Why do people become so ignorant to possible nuclear war? Because there are a lot of distractions. I talk about this literally all the time. I think that people in power kind of play us against each other, and we like fight about all this other stuff that like a lot of bigger stuff we can sometimes miss. And usually that can involve like the military industrial complex. And then really quick, what is the thing on Ontario through the Detroit Tunnel to Windsor? I haven't been to Ontario since I've been of legal drinking age. But when I was of Canada legal drinking age, but not United States legal drinking age, that was a different story. It was like me and 8 of my friends in the hotel room in Toronto. One of us would go in and check out the front desk, and we'd slowly creep in because you kind of hate people in a hotel room. Just me? You didn't do that?
No, but actually, I do want to bring back in your book and writing.
Yeah.
There. So, as you know, you probably have to do this. But now, when you learned how to write, like, what was impactful in your like writing? It was talking about your father, helping you, he was like correcting your grammar, and then to the people even in college at Hillsdale.
Right.
Like, what kind of? I mean, I think your skill level, like you're kind of born with that, like you have that.
I loved writing too.
But like, what made you like trying to go to the next level where you're like, wow, are people like this is really good?
I loved writing. Like it wasn't really a choice for me. I used to write for fun. I just like sit in my room and like write. I need to write. So I mean, there's many things I've written about many different things that are not published. I just have saved that I'm gonna go back to, and definitely reading. I mean, I went to Hillsdale, I was an English major, and this is not popular to do, but I read every single book I was assigned. So I read a lot of amazing American literature.
Top 3 books?
See, that's tough. That's impossible. Like, in what genre? I mean, I've read a lot. Like, my favorite, John Updike, his Rabbit books, the 4 books. Rabbit at Rest, no, Death Again, right? Is probably my favorite book overall. John Updike, that series just felt like a normal guy, basically. Like, guy that goes through different things, like, cheats on his wife, gets back with his wife. It's not like this like story, like, there's no, like, spaceships and aliens. But John Updike as a sentence-by-sentence writer, I've reread those books with a pen all the time, and I'll underline sentences where I'm like, wow, like, that sentence sticks with me. I mean, one of his is, when I'm stressed out, I will actually say this to myself from his book, where it's like, we do survive every moment after all except the last one, which like little things like that. And so I always aspired to write like that, where I would have, it wasn't enough to just like make a point. I'm like, I want each sentence to be perfect, and I want to have those sentences in the book where people are going to want to underline it, and I'm going to want to underline. So that's the kind of writing.
I read it, and there's parts like I reread a couple of times, and I think that I dog-eared the book so many times with things I wanted to, because there's parts in there, paragraphs that I think you write so effortlessly, but I'm like, I want to reread this because this is really smart stuff. And again, like I said, I get hot takes from you all day. Yeah. Sometimes your writing is phenomenal.
That's
and
why he won't get into a text message fight with me.
Yeah,
because
so
he's
I
always
do have a
going to
little
lose.
fear from your text messages. It's like, she'll do these epic paragraph texts.
Yeah, but I bet because I'm
and it's just like, I don't know, I can't.
Because I'm right.
Well, I don't. I
Yeah,
just see all that blue. I can't see it blue. So, but the book was not like that. The book was great. But where's the other question we looked at?
Okay.
There's 22 in 2 minutes because I think we're coming close.
We're coming close to the end. 22 questions in 2 minutes. Okay, this
so
is like that stuff people know. Who would play you in a movie? I would play me in a movie, but also I would love Anna Faris to play me.
Okay, this is a good one. What chore do you hate doing?
All chores. What chore do I do?
It's a great question.
I'm a feminist icon. I don't do chores.
No, I don't know what to say that. What is one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Seltzer water.
Seltzer. Yeah.
I'll lose my mind. I think we don't have any seltzer right now. We don't? Look at this. See this flat water, this flat, boring water with no personality. I haven't drank any of it.
Favorite school subjects, English.
Obviously.
Most interesting person you've met recently?
I mean, probably Russell Brand.
You haven't listened to it. You're on the show today.
I was on his show today live, but it's available. I'm sure. Yeah, I gotta find it. I haven't literally had time. But we had a very interesting conversation. He's a very interesting person, and I really like talking to him. What's my favorite word? I mean, my own name. Like, who's just...
pet's name, he'll know that. Well, last gift you gave and received.
I mean, you bought me shoes.
Yeah.
You bought me new shoes. And then what's the last gift I gave?
Ooh, you're very generous.
Oh, yeah, no, you know what I gave?
What?
But I can't say when I gave you the anniversary.
All right, yeah, it's your book.
I gave him a very, I gave, like, I do like a little scrapbook.
Yeah, that's a scrapper.
You're going to ruin my brand.
You said that years ago.
No, I gave it to him on a wonderful surprise date. am in love. Like, I do love my husband.
She brought me somewhere. We went on one of our first dates. It was great.
Yeah, I paid to him at work, and I didn't know where we were going.
Place.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's why people on the show, when I like make fun of you or say stuff about you,
Yeah.
people, or if I hit on Dennis Rodman on the show, people are always like, oh, can your husband stand it? It's like, because we're healthy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well,
a lot of opinions out there.
I like this one too. Do you have any hidden talents?
Do I?
She would talk.
I mean,
about
yeah, you probably. I mean, you do a lot of things. You're pretty talented.
Freestyle rapping.
Yeah, you actually.
That's true. I can freestyle rap.
Karaoke.
I can get a whole room
not
going.
Singing.
No, even though I'm tone deaf, it's fine. No, I freestyle rap. I didn't know who else can freestyle rap was Kennedy. One night, Cam was in bed, and Kennedy and I sat out here, and we just dropped a beat, and we were just going back and forth doing diss tracks.
We know this one. I'm going to bring this up.
My biggest pet peeve, obviously, chewing. Specifically his chewing. What's your
greatest achievement? Your book? I don't know.
What's my book? I mean, the greatest achievement is, honestly, my book is probably the greatest achievement. Like, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I hope I don't, because I want to make it to my party. Where do I want to go that I've never been? I love that. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Africa. I want to go to the jungle. I want to go. He doesn't want to go.
I never said I didn't want to go.
Yeah, but you're all like, it's not a priority. I want to go to safari. I want to go to safari.
No, we had COVID.
We didn't have COVID.
No, well, at that point.
I did have mad COVID. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
There was travel issues and stuff.
Right,
at that time,
I know.
so that's why we went to Europe.
Plus, you can't take Vyvanse to Japan. So how am I gonna take my medication? It's illegal there. So like, I couldn't go. Yeah. Japan is ableist to my ADHD.
And people know.
Nobody talks about it. That's my next book. I'm gonna write it in Japanese. So I'm gonna learn Japanese. What's my favorite hobby?
Oh.
Talking. My favorite hobby. I don't have a hobby. Writing. Duolingo. Oh my god, my streak is destroyed. My streak is gone. Candy Crush. I don't play that anymore.
Thank God.
I know.
It was bad. Those were dark days for a while.
Dagan.
I was spending real dollars on it.
What level were you on?
I'm on like 5,000 something. Yeah. It's pretty bad. What color is your toothbrush? So you guys, you got to get yourself an electric toothbrush. You got to. It's the only way to be. It's the only way to be. I didn't have one until I met him. So there's a lot of things I didn't do before I met you. What did I not do? What did I not have? I didn't have a bathrobe. Silverware.
plates.
Dude, I talked about that Gutfeld. I was like, the dishes thing was his idea. Gutfeld's like, what? I'm like, having dishes.
I was in our vows. My vow.
Yeah, that was their vows to me.
Yeah. I said when I married Kat, I said when I first met you, you had one plate, one spoon, one fork, and one knife, and no table. And when I asked you how do you live like this, you said, but you said how many forks and knives and spoons and plates you use when you eat.
Exactly. One person lives here.
And I said you're absolutely right. But that's the great thing. She always takes norms and throws them on their heads. But again, she can never answer why she didn't have a table.
And that was a cute joke, but also you know the answer to that question. What was the answer to the question why I didn't have a table?
You told me not to be funny.
No. What was it? What was the answer to the question why I didn't have a table?
I need dancing room. But
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. We don't have enough dancing room here. That's my hobby. Everything you do is to blast music, loud music, and just dance around. Sing and dance around.
We get calls from downstairs.
We call them downstairs because they don't want me to live my best life. I would never call on someone else. I would never do that. Like, Friday night, you're dancing, you're vibing, you're having a good time. It's a little loud. Or if it's a big deal, come talk to me directly. Don't call the authorities. So that's the answer to the question of what causes near and dear to my heart. Dancing room.
What was your favorite vacation we've been on?
Our honeymoon was great. I mean, but that's not even, that feels like it's cheating. Dude, I love Cape May, New Jersey, man. Like, we've been to Aruba, we've been to St. Lucia. Like, I love it. It's like the most magical place on earth. It's Cape May, New Jersey.
Typical go-to lunch at Fox every day.
Soup.
What type?
I mean, chicken noodle.
Okay. And then best dish you can cook.
I mean, soups and chilies. I'm a soup girl.
Potato soup.
No, you make really good fish.
Fish. I really make really good fish too.
Yeah. Well, explain the dish.
Explain the dish.
Well, I mean, you just say fish. That's ridiculous comment.
I mean, it's like fish with like sour cream and caper sauce.
Yeah.
And it's like tilapia or cod, a wetty white fish.
I think.
And dill.
Are we coming close on time?
Yeah, we're coming close to the end.
Maybe we do 2 more questions, but we're going to go ask the audience. We're going to ask Keith.
Oh boy.
Do you have any questions for Kat?
I'm on the spot.
Keith's gay.
And you couldn't tell. And I've been sitting through all these interviews all week. So.
He knows
okay, so
everything.
Keith, let me ask you this, because you've been through everyone, and I haven't seen them all since on TV. And what was your favorite one you went on with Kat?
They're so different.
They're all so different.
Okay. What was the funniest moment? Your top couple funniest moments?
Am I answering this question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were supposed to ask.
Well, the thing that stuck out to me the most through several of these interviews, and I think you'll find this in reading the book, is like all these people who are interviewing her obviously do it for a living, and so they know how to push a conversation. And there were multiple points of silence, not because they didn't know what to say, but because what you said struck such an intellectual chord with them that it really challenged some of their thoughts or really got them thinking. I found that reading this book, I was present in real life for a lot of these stories. And I found myself cry laughing or just really like thinking deeply about these moments. You have such a good way with words.
Thank you. We love Keith, by the way. If you're Team Timpf, you're Team Keith too.
But keep it on her.
No, it's true. It's funny. It was at Fox Day. Everyone was like, it's the Keith.
Well, he almost has a pass now.
Yeah.
Everyone says hello to him on the
He's
floor.
been with me every moment you've seen me, like this week on anything. He's pretty much this distance away.
Keith's favorite show on Fox? Besides
Gutfeld.
No, besides Gutfeld.
I'm a huge Dana Perino fan. So
Yeah,
Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino.
He likes America's Newsroom.
Yeah.
Sure do.
All right. How do we wrap it
I
up?
think that's it. I just say thanks to everyone for coming, and then I guess these books will be signed for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Does that work?
What? Oh yeah, that's true. I am going on a tour.
Yeah.
So you guys, you want to come see me live? It's gonna be really great. I'm gonna be doing like a show with a slideshow with some of the receipts of some of the things in my book. But I'm gonna be like telling jokes, talking about them. I'm gonna be interviewed about the book. I mean, Guy Benson is coming with me to Chicago, April 30th, and I have like an old friend from DC. Haywood Turnip. I was gonna get that. Haywood Turnipseed Jr. is his name in DC, and then Gene from Gutfeld is going to be opening for both shows. Yeah. So that's how I was going to do it. So if when you're writing, if there's something to do both, you can just consolidate it like that and do it at the end. But it's going to be so much fun. And I'm getting people are like, "You're going to die if you go to Chicago." I'm going to the north side of Chicago. It's not a a spray of help, like at the bullets. It's the north side of Chicago, like the worst, you know, it might be like a rich lady gives you a dirty look for not, you know, wearing fancy enough boots, but honestly, like we're gonna have a great time. Also, like, if you're scared to go, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, Guy Benson's braver than you, I'm braver than you, I mean, come on, sorry.
Well, if people want to go, Kat, where do you get the tickets?
Obviously, therealcattimpf.com. I say that like I've had a website for longer than 3 days. You guys, I really hope you come. I really hope you come because it's going to be great. And thank you guys all so much for coming. Not just to this, but for, like, you know, caring and being there for me and supporting me. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I'm going to go before I get emotional. So go to therealcattimpf.com. And that's it, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Over and out.
Yeah.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.